Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. So, how is everybody doing today? Happy Friday. Happy Friday from your girl, Nicole. Hey Classy, what you doing, girl? Happy Friday, you guys. Happy Friday. So, I just got home and honestly, I'm going to tell you guys, it is really nasty outside. Hey Lou. Here it is like really, will you cut your long hair with me? Yeah, I'm actually trying to figure out what I want to do, but I'm going to get a trim for sure. I think what I'm probably going to do is, let's see how much. Hey Gunny, let's see. Let's bring it up to the front and then I'll show you guys. Okay, so, all right, it's like right up underneath my boobies. So what I'm thinking, oh, hey Sonia, tell Granny I said happy birthday. So what I'm thinking is I'll probably get about that much cut off. How much does that look like? About 6 inches? But I'm not going short, Classy. Not short. Just, you know, like medium length. But what I thought I could do is I could come on and we could do makeup and chat for a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. What's everybody up to today? Everybody having a good day? How's everybody's recovery going? Anybody struggling? Anybody need help with anything? So I had you guys vote on what you guys wanted to talk about tonight. Feeling depressed? Oh man, I'm sorry, girl. I know how that goes though. You know, I have good days and I have bad days. But I'm going to tell you, the good days outweigh the bad ones. I have more good days than I do bad ones. But when I was in my active addiction, it was the opposite. You know, when I was in active addiction, I had more bad days than I did good days. And so I'm really grateful to have good days now, you know? And even my bad days in my sobriety are not as bad as they were when I was in my active addiction. So, you know what you could do, Lou? And this really does help me a lot. Try to think of everything that you have to be grateful for, okay? Look at your grandchildren. Look at your husband. Look at the house that you have to live in. Look at the clothes that you have to wear. And I know this might all seem like not that big of a deal, but it really, really is. And when we can dumb things down to like just to the bare minimum where we can look at things and say, you know, I have everything I need. Right? A lot of the times I get overwhelmed and I get depressed or I get sad. And it's because what I'm doing is I'm focusing on the things that I don't have, right? So part of being a content creator on YouTube, a lot of the times it's easy to get discouraged and say, well, I don't have 100,000 subscribers, you know, or I don't have a bunch of people watching my videos. Right? But here's the thing, you guys. It doesn't matter if 100,000 people watch your video or just one person watches your video, okay? What matters is that you're helping and you're spreading a message of hope. And that's what we do. That's what the whole point of my channel over here is. So if I help one person or I help 10 people, you know, as long as I'm doing what I'm doing it and I'm making a difference today, and I'm not sitting, you know, out there in them streets in my active addiction. So don't get discouraged. Try not to be depressed. Let's change the way we think. So I asked you guys what you guys wanted to talk about tonight on the Mara meeting. And you guys, I put 3 options out in the community tab. And it was an overwhelming vote for how to change the way we think. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about how to change your perception, how to change the way you view your life, how to change the way you respond in situations. Okay, and I'm going to share with you guys how I have learned to change the way I respond to life and what I do today to stay sober. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I hope you guys will come. That's at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So Sonia says, hey Tiara, also going to walks or any exercise helps a lot with feeling a depression. You know, it does, especially if you live in a state like, okay, I know California, Sonia, you're so lucky because the weather there is just so beautiful. I wish that, but it's nice here, but it's just really, really hot. Like today, it's overcast really bad and it's so muggy outside because all those storms from down in Texas, they're blowing up this way to Arkansas. So I'm not going to talk about how to change our thinking right now because I want to save it for tonight for the meeting. But what else you guys, is there anything you guys need to talk about or want to talk about or chat with me about? Is there any questions that you guys have? Because I know I got a lot of new subscribers. Cindy says, I promised myself I would start exercising again because it helps my depression. Absolutely. You know, and so the earlier I wake up in the morning, this is what I'm figuring out. The earlier I wake up in the morning and so this morning I woke up at 7 o'clock and I went into work by like 7:15, 7:20. And so I've been going since 7 o'clock this morning and I feel good. Okay, let's use some foundation. I haven't really put any foundation on in like a week. I've just been doing concealer, so we're gonna do some foundation together. This is all out, I think. I have a full one right here. Oh, is it leaking? Oh, hell no. Oh no. How did that? Oh, I filled it up. I remember. Okay. When I wake up in the morning, and get myself together and go to work and get some stuff accomplished, I feel a lot better. You know what I mean? So I know that always helps me to feel better. You know, I haven't felt like doing my makeup. It's been really hot. Oh, girl, I understand. That's really why I don't wear a lot of makeup, is because it's so hot outside here. Sometimes it's hard to push myself lately. I just want to sleep. Well, Cindy, and you know what? Okay, listen, I can relate to that too. I can relate to that. You know that just wanting to sleep and cocooning inside your house, that's a sign of depression, right? So that's isolation also. A lot of us who are, recovering addicts and alcoholics, we struggle with isolation and we struggle with depression. So I'm telling you guys, it might not seem like it's a big deal, but how many of you are in my Patreon? I think Sonia, Cindy, Classy's in there. We have a group of girls, and we have a Hangouts chat where we all, even if I'm not in there all the time, there's always somebody in there to chat if you need to talk to someone, right? So if you guys can get yourself into a women's group or a women's meeting where you can talk with other women, you girls can, and you guys can get into a group with other guys, so that way you have support. Support really does make a difference. If you can have support from other people that are in recovery, other people that you can talk to, because they're going to understand what you're going through, okay, people who struggle with addiction and depression and anxiety and mental illness, we understand what each other are going through. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to talk to somebody about that. First time I got support and the first time I've stayed sober this long. I know, Sonia, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy to be a part of that. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm so grateful that I get to be a part of your journey. And it's not and I want to make this clear, we're not like up each other's butts 100 days a week or anything. Like, we go in there, like Sonia will pop in and she'll tell us about how her week's going. And then Cindy pops in. Cindy pops in every morning and wishes all the girls a good morning. Annie pops in. Classy pops in. It's just knowing that you have that extra support there if you need it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that you have to join my Patreon to get that, but what I'm trying to explain to you guys is, if you can find a group of people like that, that you can, get comfortable with, and that you can use them as a support network. That's what I'm saying. It really doesn't matter, where you get the support from, just as long as it's support from people who know what you're going through, people who can relate. Because you could go and get into a support group with a bunch of people who have nothing to do with it, that have never been through an addiction. And then when you come to those people and you try to explain to them how you're feeling, or if you're triggered and you want to use, they're going to look at you and they're going to go, I don't know what you're talking about, And so Cindy says, it's embarrassing to admit that I struggle, even, it's embarrassing to admit with having this much clean time that I struggle. And that's the thing, Cindy, that's what your mind wants you to be embarrassed, right? Because your addiction tells you that you should have this thing licked, right? I should have my sobriety in control. I should know everything by now. That is what your addiction wants you to think. Your addiction wants you to think that you're going to get to this point one day in your sobriety and you're just going to know it all and you're not going to need any help anymore, right? Well, let me just tell you something, okay? I know people who've been sober for 20 years who still struggle, okay? It's just a different struggle, right? So don't let your mind play tricks on you, right? Don't let your mind make you feel like your struggles. It's healthy to have struggles. It's healthy to, go through ups and downs in life. We're only human. Nobody's perfect, I used to set myself up like that, right? And what that is that's unrealistic expectations. Okay? You're placing those unrealistic expectations on yourself. And so that way, if you fail, which you're going to, because it's an unrealistic expectation, then you beat yourself up. You know what I'm saying? Share, because you get to realize you're not the only one. It's normal. Totally. And you also have to learn that, like, placing those kind of unrealistic expectations on yourself, that's, like I said, setting yourself up for failure. We all struggle. We all struggle. We all feel like we could do better. We all beat ourselves up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's just part of being human. You know what I'm saying? It happens. So I'm trying to figure out, I need some help, you guys. I'm trying to figure out why YouTube keeps demonetizing my videos. Hey, Captain. And I'm talking about videos that are like me just talking about, changing your life and and being a better person, and not even videos that are like my Storytimes, my Storytime is monetized, but my videos about recovery are not. And I'm like, what is going on here? I need to figure out, I guess I need to go into YouTube's whatchamajigger and read up on how the policies and procedures are or whatever, because I don't understand how certain videos get monetized of mine and then certain videos don't. It's like they automatically, the minute they go up, YouTube just demonetizes it. Something is setting off the bot or something when I upload a video. I don't know if it's a word in my title. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what it is, but I've got to figure it out. Now, in my tags, I think I have addiction, recovery, Matt, Shoot, I even have drama tagged in my thing. I don't know why. I think somebody told me I should put it in there, so I did. You know me, I don't know anything. But it's like, it's not that I would make a lot of money from, hey Sid, what are you doing? You guys, what's up, Sid? You guys, I want to introduce you guys to Sid. I'm so glad you popped on. It says YouTube is demonetizing almost everyone's videos. Even big YouTubers, and now they're taking verification. Oh, I saw that. Today, Ryan Leone's title was butt plugs. I saw that. Addiction is not a bad word, but they might see it as a topic that's not content friendly. I know. Yeah, you should have called me, Sid, but oh well, you caught me on here. That's even better. Welcome to the family. Welcome back, should I say. You guys, Sid has literally been with me since, I think before I had 1 subscriber. We go way back. Way back. Hey, Megan. Okay, girl, you just listen to us, okay? So I think we're all kind of struggling. Correct me if I'm wrong, you guys. I think a lot of us right now are struggling with, we're all going through kind of a funk in our life, you know? And here's the thing that I had to learn, because I go through a funk. I've been trying to kind of document it and see, like, am I going through a funk around my period time? What is the, like, I'm trying to journal and see, like, what the cycle is of my funks that I go through. So if you guys don't remember, about 2 months ago, I really hit a really bad low where I uploaded a video and I was crying. And I'm not talking about just my regular crying. I'm talking like I was sobbing because I was so depressed. And I felt like I just couldn't even get out of bed, okay? But I did get out of bed, and I came on here and I made a video and I talked to you guys about it. I'm going to tell you something right now. If I didn't have my YouTube channel and you guys to talk to, a lot of times I don't even know what I would do. Like, this has been so therapeutic for me to be able to come on here and talk with you guys and just kind of like blow off steam, you know, and chat with you guys while I do that. I feel so lucky to have you guys in my life. And after I got off the live stream last night that we had, I was just like, I had so much joy because I just felt like we had such a good little meeting last night before I went to bed. Ooh, I'm gonna get teary-eyed. I felt like we just had such a good connection last night. You know, it's not, some nights are better than others, and it's like some nights I feel the message in my own, like my heart, you know? So Sonia, that's good, Sonia. I think some people feel the moment they get sober, everything is supposed to be okay again. And that expectation can really discourage people. That's right, because it's a process. And so I thought the same thing. I thought, okay, I'm sober now. Like, all my problems should be solved, right? I think so many people think that. And what that does is it sets us up for disappointment. Because let me just tell you, no, now that you're sober, everything's not going to be okay. What's going to happen is now you're going to have to face everything that you've been running from. Did you hear what I just said? Now that you got sober, things aren't going to just fix themselves. Ow, door. Now you're going to have to face everything that you've been running from. Whoo, mercy, and that is not easy, you guys. Because for so long, we have been running from our problems and blotting out our feelings with drugs and alcohol. All right? That's what we do for so many years, is just get high to block out those feelings. Now we have to deal with those feelings, and it's hard. It's uncomfortable. It is not fun. Right. Exactly, Sid. Exactly. You're absolutely correct. Because we get sober and we think, okay, life is supposed to be good now, right? And we set ourselves up for that unrealistic expectation. And then when we start having to face life on life's terms, man, I'm telling you what, listen to me. I knew when I got sober, I was going to have to face a lot of life because my son had gotten taken away. So I was fighting to get my son back from the state. But so that kind of helped me a little bit to like prepare for the worst, because that's what you got to do when you're going up against the state. You're preparing for the worst. But I see a lot of people and their parents even their parents even kind of, expect for everything to go back to normal, and the family doesn't understand either that, like, okay, this is just the beginning, right? It's just the beginning, getting sober. Honestly, you guys, getting sober and stopping drugs, I know it might seem like that's the hard part, but it's really the easiest part out of the whole process, right? Taking away the drugs and the alcohol, that's the easy part. The hard part is staying away from the drugs and alcohol and rebuilding your life one step at a time. You know what I'm saying? It's doable, right? I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it, right? Sid, that's a great point. So Sid just said you might have a whole different personality or traits you didn't notice. Okay, so when I first got sober, I remember being so afraid that my husband wasn't going to like me anymore, because I had heard stories from other recovering addicts and alcoholics that got sober, and once they got sober, their husbands or their wives or their significant others, they fell out of love with each other because they were so different once they got sober. So when I was in my active addiction, you guys, I was just always going, right? I was always running around. I was always doing something. So now that I'm sober, I don't really know I'm still learning a lot about who I am. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys something that happened the other day. I was sitting with my husband in the truck, and we were driving to pick up my son, and I started crying, and I looked at him and I said, God, I don't know who I am. And I told him that I feel like I'm so different from when we first met that I worry that he's not going to love me anymore. Because I remember what I was like in active addiction. I was absolutely the most fun. I was so much fun. I was always ready to do something. I was always ready to conquer something. I had so much confidence, like in the way I looked. I mean, I dressed like I felt beautiful. I carried myself like I felt beautiful. And this is all, like, my body, all this is new for me, right? Having this extra weight and stuff is new for me. And so, me and my husband, I felt so insecure. I was literally just sobbing the other day because I told him I don't want you to not love me anymore. I don't want you to fall out of love with me because I'm not the same way as I was when we met. I know a lot of people know what I'm talking about. I know a lot of you guys are either going through the same thing with your husbands or significant others, or you've been through it before, right? And it's like, drugs gave me so much confidence that I don't have now that I'm sober. And you guys might think, oh, well, you're confident, Nicole, right? Hey, Kit Kat. Do you still feel like he will leave you? No, I mean, now I know that, he's never going to leave me. Actually, he sent me a text message. Hey, Bullet Scotty, what's up, buddy? He sent me a text message the other day when I was at work. I'm going to start running your link through the chat from time to time. Is that okay, Nicole? Hey, sure. Thanks, Captain. I appreciate you. Captain's just linking my PayPal link, you guys, and I really appreciate that, girl. I love you. Good. What's censored in the chat? Oh, nothing. You can say drugs. I think Suboxone, I might have, if you just put subs, it'll come through. I've just got certain like cuss words and stuff like that blocked, but nothing really, nothing else. Drugs gave me confidence, you guys. And so when I first met my husband, I was really thin. I was real high. And the first night we were together, like intimately together, I did a strip tease for him. Like seriously, you guys. Like I was on a stripper pole. Okay, that's how confident I was in my body, right? Hey, what's up, man? I'm smoking up, baby. And I was so confident in myself, right? And that's the way he met me. But then since we've gotten sober, like I've kind of like that confidence has like dwindled away, because it's like I'm learning the person that I am now in sobriety without drugs. And it's different than than the way I was in my addiction. I'm a lot more reserved in my sobriety. I'm a lot more like, hey God, hey Destiny. Yes, girl. Okay, then you guys can relate, right? Oh, what kind of drugs was I on? Okay, okay. Hey friend. Okay, I'm in recovery, and the drugs that I was on was methamphetamine, IV, Roxy's IV, Xanax orally, and cocaine intravenously. So stimulants, opiates, and some benzos. And I was an alcoholic for about 6 months, like a full-fledged alcoholic. I drank every single day. And the reason I was an alcoholic was because I was on probation and I couldn't do drugs anymore. So I started drinking, right? And so I remember I would wake up every morning and I would get a 6-pack, and then I would go to bed and I would drink a 6-pack. And then I started moving up to liquor, right? Oh yeah, Captain, that's okay. Did you ever get into using psychedelics recreationally? I'm a hallucinogen friend. Hey, Ass Nasty. I saw your comment the other day. Welcome to the channel. Yes, I did. So I'll tell you a little story time, okay? So basically, I was an IV drug addict from the time I was 17. I started shooting up at about 23, 24. But IV drug addict from about 23 to 32. And IV, methamphetamine, cocaine, and Roxy's. I did dabble in psychedelics, and so I'll tell you guys a quick little story time if you'd like to hear it. So, okay, I'm going to give you 2 short little story times. So, okay, I used to live with this guy. His name was Nate, and he was a dope cook, okay? He cooked methamphetamine. And so I lived in this trailer with him. Hey, Shannon. And the reason I got to live there, I lived there for free, was because I would shuck matches and I would clean the whole trailer for him, and he would give me free dope, and it was just like it worked out as a good trade. So he would cook the dope. Well, one night he had like cooked a bunch of dope and he had gassed it all off. It was just like a whole process, and we had bagged it up and he was selling it. People were coming over. It was a constant through traffic, you guys. It was like we would have cars coming in and out, in and out, in and out all the time. Exactly. Only this was like Breaking Bad redneck style, because this was like, bathtub dope. This was dope that you like cooked at your house in the kitchen. Okay, like we could blow the trailer up and die. I've seen people like catch their arms on fire because it blew up and melted all the skin off their arm. So we had finished that, and like I said, there was constant traffic coming through this house. Well, these guys came over to get some dope, and they had acid. Okay, not sheets of acid, but acid on not Starburst, sweet tarts. Sweet tarts. Okay, now you guys, I had never ever done acid before in my life. Now let me kind of tell you what kind of state of mind I was in. I had been awake for probably a week with no sleep. Okay, so I have not slept in a week, and I am also really had a crush on this guy Nate that I was living with. Like, I really liked him. I lived there because, well, I liked him and I would do anything he asked me to do. But he didn't really like me back. At least I don't think he did. Well, this guy came over and he had some acid on the sweet tarts, and we ended up buying, I think, like 5 sweet tarts from him. And it was me, Nate, and my girlfriend Tammy. At the time, I was in a relationship with this girl Tammy. We had been dating for about a year, and like I really really liked her, and I had always kind of like swung both ways, you know what I'm saying? I had always like been interested in girls, but when I would get messed up on drugs and alcohol, like that interest in women would come out even more, and I'd be turned into like a super freak. So I was dating Tammy, and let me just describe to you what Tammy looked like. She had the cutest little bob haircut. She had like blondish hair, and she was real petite, perfect little tight waist, nice round. She was really cute. No, we were both very girly. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I was also like really tiny back then. I was probably like 120 pounds, and she was like 110 pounds. Oh no, she was so pretty and very femme. So we were both really feminine. So me, Nate, and Tammy decided to drop acid. Okay, so I had been up all night. Remember, 7 days I've been awake. Hadn't slept in about a week. Real talk, you guys. And Nate had a crush on Tammy, but Tammy was with me, so it was like we were all there together. So we dropped the acid, and I remember them just telling me, like, just play it cool, just relax, let it kick in, you're gonna love it, right? I was already really afraid because I had heard so many horror stories about people who had done acid and had bad trips. Well, let me just tell you guys, I think I freaked myself out so bad. So for some reason, they decided we were going to go to Walmart. Okay. So we got inside this dude's Jeep, and me, Nate, Tammy, and this guy who was driving, I cannot remember his name for the life of me, went on down to Walmart. Now, you guys need to remember something. I was paranoid as fuck. I'm literally in the Jeep with a dope cook. It's like 2 a.m. in the morning in Arkansas, okay? Like, everybody knows what we're doing. They know we're tweaking, okay? So we all get out. We get inside the Walmart, and the minute I walked into the Walmart, you guys, I will never forget the way I felt. I looked up, and all I could see was fluorescent lights. My eyes went, and I was afraid for my life. I darted. I ran out that front door back to that Jeep. I said, fuck that. Fuck that shit. I'm not going in there with y'all. Fuck that shit. And I sat in that Jeep. I laid in the back of the Jeep on the floor and just fucking waited for them to get out, scared for my life. It was bad, man. So they came out and they left, and we all went back to the house. Well, this is how bad it got, you guys. I started going into these like psychosis dreams, right? Where I was thinking that Nate and Tammy were fucking. And I was like getting pissed. I was like, why are y'all fucking behind my back? Like, if you're gonna do it, at least, like, let's all do it together, right? That was the kind of like way I was, especially when I would get high. Like anything could go. I was gonna have a threesome. I would have a sixsome. I would have, man. I'm telling you what, you guys. When I was getting high, I loved getting fucked up and fucking. So I was like, just don't leave me out. And I remember Tammy being like, Nicole, we're not doing anything. And then I would leave the room, and then I would come back, and I'd be like, why are y'all lying to me? Why are y'all fucking behind my back? You know? Y'all, it's so crazy. It's so embarrassing now. Like, when I remember it, how stupid it was. Because they weren't. So, anyway, long story short, I was losing my damn mind on this acid, you guys. I was tripping. And I was very, very afraid. So, the next morning, it was like 8 hours, you guys. 8 hours went by, and I'm still blazing, tripping balls. And I was like, man, fuck this shit. I can't handle this. I can't handle this. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. So I got in my car with a donut. It had a donut on it. And I left, and I decided I was going to drive to my parents' house and go sleep at their house, right? I hadn't been back to their house in over 30 days, probably 2 months or something. And I was like, fuck this, I'm going to mom and dad's. Worst idea, worst thing I could have ever done was get behind the wheel of a car. I was driving down the street to my parents' house, right? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, everything went black. I couldn't see shit. It was like the curtains had been pulled over my eyes, right? And I was like, holy shit. I just knew that I was coming up on this gas station on the right. It was a Valero. So I pulled over into the gas station, and I threw my car into park, and I got out, and I walked in the front door, hyperventilating, gasping for air. I can't breathe. I went behind the cash register, and I asked the lady, please call 911. I can't breathe, right? I don't know what was happening. I was hallucinating, hyperventilating. It was horrible. I'd been up for days, you guys. I had track marks all over my arms, bloodshot eyes, hair looking crazy, skinny as a twig, looking like I came from the zombie apocalypse. So the lady called 911, and the ambulance came. The ambulance comes up there. They ask me, have you had any stimulants? No. Have you done anything? I'm telling them lies. They give me the oxygen. I start to feel like a little bit better, right? So I was like, I'm fine. You can leave. I'm fine. So they left me. They just left. And I got back in my car, and I drove to my parents' house. And the minute I got to my mom's house, you guys, it started happening again, where I started hyperventilating. I started not being able to breathe. I started not being able to see anything. I called 911, and the ambulance came, and I went with them to the hospital. I got to the hospital, you guys, and my mom came up there, right? My mom was like, what is going on? And that's when I told my mom, like, I dropped acid. I've been up for 7 days, and I don't know what's happening. I cannot function. I feel like my mind is not working right? So they ended up keeping me there for about 2 or 3 hours, right? And I told them what all I had taken. I told them I had been shooting methamphetamine, and they ended up giving me like some Ativan or some kind of like downer. And I ended up being okay, and they sent me home, and please stop yelling. They sent me home, and I went home and slept at my parents' house, I think for like 2 nights, right? It was so scary, you guys. It was so bad, girl, because it wasn't just the acid, okay? It was because I had been up on meth for 7 days. It was because I had taken, I think we had taken Oxycontin 80s. Okay, I took an Oxycontin 80, snorted it actually. And so it was like that, all these things combination together. And I was just losing my mind, okay? It was so freaking scary. So that was my first experience on acid. I tripped out. I couldn't handle it. Well, after that, I never tripped acid again. If you said you had acid, I say, fuck that. Well, then I started getting into mushrooms. Hey, Kelly, what's up, girl? This is the Dose of Colors Desi and Katie palette. And I'm just going to use this like neutral color brown right here. And then I'm going to go into the Anastasia Jacquiata palette. So Me and my sister Michelle, we had this guy that we were friends with. His name was Jeremy. And Jeremy's parents were like hella rich. So he had his own house, right? And I'm talking, we were probably like 25. I was 25, so that means Michelle and Jeremy were like 23. But when I tell you this kid had like a house on the lake, you guys, okay? Four-wheelers, boats, all kinds of stuff. BMW car, like we just had it made. He didn't work. We could sit there at his house and smoke high-grade fucking marijuana all day long, tweak our balls off and just kick it. Well, one night, oh, this is so much fun, you guys. I just got back from being at the strip club, okay? So I used to go to this strip club with my friends and just like hang out. I didn't work there or anything, but my best friends used to strip and they worked there. So I could go up there and drink and just, kick it. Well, I came back from the strip club with me, Sonia, and Miranda, and my sister and Jeremy were at his house just hanging out. All right, so I was like, what's up, y'all? And they were like, we got some mushrooms. Okay, here where I live in Arkansas, you can still go you can still go to these damn cow pastures and get the mushrooms from underneath the cow shit. Okay? Oh, listen to me. That was Sonia and Miranda. So we all went back to Jeremy's house and we ended up eating some caps. And that's the kind of how I was. Like he had, when I tell you guys, he had Ziploc baggies full of these mushrooms, right? Hey, that's what's up, Kelly. Welcome to the channel. I'm actually telling stories about my old ways back in active addiction. Everybody gets a kick out of the story times. But tonight at 7, we're going to do a recovery meeting, and it's going to be all about how to change the way you think, changing your thinking. So welcome to the channel. And just so you guys know, trigger warning, and if you're easily offended or you're easily triggered by hearing stuff about drugs, then you don't need to be on this channel. So they had like these Ziploc bags, okay? And they had the caps in one bag and the stems in the other bag. And I don't know what it was, but I have tripped mushrooms many, many times. And I love those caps. I could eat 2 caps and be fucking fucked up. So this was the first time I ever ate mushrooms. And so I took a cap, just one, and I ate it. And I was laying on he had like this futon in the middle of his living room, right? And I was watching, he had these like glow in the dark posters all over the walls. This is when I knew that I loved mushrooms, and I would never, they were so good to me. Mushrooms, honestly, you guys, I would still try mushrooms in my recovery if they were around. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with like taking a mushroom every now and then. I think that it's actually kind of like really fun, but I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Like, I gotta be careful, but you know what I'm saying. I'm very open-minded. I'm very open to multiple pathways to recovery. So for me right now, though, I can't be getting on eating mushrooms or anything like that. But maybe like if I had 10 or 15 years sober and me and my husband were like on a retreat out in the Hawaiian Islands, I might take a mushroom or something. You know what I mean? But anyway, I took the cap and I was looking up, and he had these glow in the dark posters all around, right? And we turned off the lights, and all these posters were glowing, and that's when I started seeing everything just started like melting into it. That's what it was, melting. Okay, it was like a melting tie-dyed ooze out of these posters. It was so much fun, you guys. And I just laid back and relaxed. And we had a good time. I didn't have any bad experience on shrooms. It was actually the most fun I've had ever, really. Just being able to like get outside of my own self, because that's what I felt like was happening. When I was on shrooms, the way it felt to me was that I was outside of myself, watching myself. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, that would probably actually be like really fun, I think it's when you start introducing like chemicals like acid, like I think because shrooms are like from the ground and they're like, you know, God made them. I think that's why they're not bad. They're just like fun. But I feel like you also, when you're going into trip and stuff like that, like you need to have yourself in the best state of mind possible. Like, don't go into a trip and be mad at your boyfriend or be fighting with your mom or be having a bad day at work. Like, try to go into it with a positive state of mind. You know what I mean? But yeah, those are my experiences, you guys. One with acid, one with shrooms. I have so many stories, you guys, I could tell you about just my life back then. Because when I was in my active addiction, like, I just did all kinds of stuff. Because it was like first of all, I wasn't like a mom back then, okay? I didn't have my son and anything went, okay? Second of all, I moved out of my parents' house when I was about 18 years old and got my own place. Now, the places I lived, they weren't the best places. I remember I lived in a 1-bedroom efficiency. Okay, let me tell you all a story about this. So, I moved out of my parents' house when I was 18. When I was 21, I met this guy named LD, and he was homeless. But for some reason, I fell in love with this homeless dude, okay? We met at a party, and I was like, hey man, what's up? And we just started hanging out. We stayed up all night, and I was like, you know what? I like you a lot. We should, talk again. So he called me one Thursday while I was at work, and I was like, hey, I'll come pick you up. So I went and picked him up, and we stayed the whole night together. We slept in my car, you guys. Okay? That's how crazy I was back when I was in my addiction. Like, I didn't give a damn. So I didn't care if you had a house or anything. Like, I was just trying to have a good time. So we slept in my car, and then I was like, where's your house at? Like, where do you live? And he told me that his grandmother lived in this apartment, but he didn't really have anywhere to live. Like, she would let him sleep on the couch, but, that wasn't his house. And I was like, oh, shit, we got to get a place, So we ended up going in on a place together. He got a job working construction, and we went and found us this little 1-bedroom efficiency. Now, you remember how I was telling you guys about the girls who worked at the strip club? Well, the strip club was called the French Quarter, and it was right on the main strip in Hot Springs. Okay, and above the French Quarter was these 1-bedroom efficiencies, okay? So I lived in that 1-bedroom efficiency. It was literally like $120 a week to live there, and maybe a little bit less than that, maybe 90. It was cheap, but it came fully furnished. And when I say fully furnished, I mean like it had a mattress on a box spring that probably 100 strippers and prostitutes had slept on, with cigarette burn holes and all kinds of craziness. A little couch, a refrigerator, and a bathroom and a stove, and that's it. I mean, it was bad. It was so bad that there was rats, there were roaches this big in that motherfucker. It was bad. So I remember my parents decided they wanted to come see where I was living. And when my dad wants to see what's going on, he's going to come. He's going to show up. So one day my mom and dad showed up. And of course, you know me, I let them in. Hey mom, hey dad. And you guys also need to remember, I was in the state of mind that I was high all the time. So I wasn't sleeping anyway. I was strung out. And I was working at the revenue office at the time. So I would get high and then go to work and then come home and stay up all night long. So mom and dad came over to see the house. And my dad came in, you guys. And just so you know, a lot of you guys don't know, my dad is a super, basically, exactly. My dad is a really big ass Italian dude, okay? He's super prideful. He's very, very serious about not fucking up your life, okay? And I had already fucked up my life. My dad, I had already gotten convicted of a felony, okay? And so, that was after so right after, that was after LD, so that was 2001. Hadn't gotten my felony yet, but I was on my way there. And so my dad came over and he was so upset. You guys, he goes to my mom, Gina, we got to get her out of here. She can't live like this, And my mom was like, we're going to help you find a place. So my mom and dad helped us, me and LD, find a place to live, a nice trailer, okay? A brand new, it wasn't brand new, but it was a nice trailer that was clean and it had a little couch inside of it that it came with, but everything else we had to get on our own. And it was $350 a month plus utilities. And it was out in the country, okay? And we ended up moving in there, and I remember my mom helped me pay the deposit. And I was like, okay, thank you so much for helping us get out of there, because you guys, we couldn't afford it. We didn't know how to get out of there, and I was using drugs. So it was like, when you're getting high, it's like you don't really realize how bad the situation that you're in is, because your judgment's so clouded. So now that I look back on it, I realize how bad it was. It was disgusting. Okay? When I tell you guys, it was so disgusting that you could hear women having sex all night long, pimps in and out of the place, roaches, rats, people screaming, people hitting and beating each other. At one time, there was this guy that was going around and slitting women's ankles from underneath their cars. And so my dad was so afraid that I was going to get home one night and I was going to get out of my car and they were going to rape me out there. It was serious. And I would go in that neighborhood and be there like it wasn't nothing, you know what I mean? It was just my home, and it wasn't no thing. And that's why, now that I'm older and I'm never afraid to go anywhere, because when I was in my active addiction, I've been down to the lowest of low. I have lived, like I said, out of places that aren't even inhabitable by humans, and I was living there. I lived in a place for 6 months that didn't have any running water. Okay? Me and my friends, we would have to go outside and dig a hole to shit in it. So because we couldn't flush the toilet. And can you imagine if you crap in the toilet for so many times without being able to flush it? Stinks, disgusting. So what we would do is we'd go outside and we would dig a hole and we would go to the bathroom outside. So it was serious, you guys. My addiction, I would choose getting high over having, the basic necessities, all right, that a normal human being would have. And listen, okay, I'm not proud of this at all, but I'm just trying to tell you guys, that's how serious the addiction had me, right? The addiction had me choosing my drugs over, everyday needs that a person needs to have to live, and I know a lot of you guys can relate. I know a lot of you guys have been down there like I have, and have let your addiction take over your whole life. Okay? My addiction made the choices whether I had a house to live in that had running water and electricity. Because damn it, if that electricity and that running water cost too much, I wasn't going to pay that, because I had to get drugs, my addiction took all my jobs from me. I lost multiple jobs because of my addiction. All right. You guys, I can sit here and tell you all about addiction. You guys know the stories, okay? If you got like I did, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's why now in my sobriety, that's why I'm so fucking thankful to be alive. That's why I'm so grateful to have my YouTube channel and have you guys that actually want to hear what I have to talk about. When you go and I know you guys know what I'm talking about. When you get to a point where you're so low that you can't go anywhere else but up, because there's no more bottom. There's nothing else. The next bottom is going to be death. Okay? So it's today, now that I realize hey, that's the shit I did in my past. I don't have to live my life like that anymore, right? Now today, we can all talk and we can laugh about those old crazy things I did in my active addiction, and I can share my experience to help other people, right? But I have PTSD from war and struggle with day-to-day life. Paranoid fits because of my parents, because people assume I'm tweaking. I understand. And you know what? That's PTSD. So listen to this. My father-in-law, before he passed away, he had really bad PTSD from the war, okay? Because he was a Vietnam vet. And so I totally understand. And you know what? Listen to me, you should be proud of yourself because you're a warrior, because you were able to, go to war and help for us fight for our freedom. So, don't beat yourself up. You did an awesome thing for the country, and many people are grateful for that. But I do understand, like, PTSD is so hard to deal with, and the best thing I can tell you to do is, if you can, get into some kind of therapy. I think everybody should go to therapy, you guys. I think everybody should go to therapy, and everybody can benefit from therapy. So, okay, well, still though, you still did a good thing. I'm proud of you. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Like, I have seen so many new people on my channel now. I'm proud of you, Kit Kat. You did a good job, girl. And that's what we got to do. We got to get it out of our system and move along. I'm telling you guys, it took me hitting a bottom, right? And the way that God finally woke me up and pulled my head out of my own ass was by taking my son from me, And once my son was taken away, then I started to get help. And that, I'm grateful today. I'm grateful today that I can come on here and I can tell you guys stories and we can laugh about it, and I can look at my past, and that past doesn't define me, okay? Like, my past is my greatest asset today. Like, I love sharing my experience, and I love helping other people find recovery and not feel like they're so alone. You know what I'm saying? That is what my life is. That's what I'm here for. My purpose is to help other people. And I always, when I would hear people say, like, I have purpose, I have a purpose-driven life, right? Yeah, Megan, I did. I used all through my pregnancy. I'll kind of explain it to you if you would like me to. When I was pregnant with my son, I found out, and I think I was about maybe 2 months pregnant when I found out. And the moment I found out, I knew I had to stop using opiates, okay? And I was, like, you got to remember, like, I was an IV Roxy addict. I shot up Roxy's and Dilaudids and morphine and Oxy and Opanas, basically anything I could shoot. Yeah, buddy. Hold on. Your password is Onyx, capital ONYX, 1977. Anyway, when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, you know what? I cannot use opiates anymore, and I cannot use benzos because, and you guys, this is how sick I was in my addiction. I thought if I got sober from opiates and benzos, that would be enough. You are an amazing example. I love your videos. This sounds so dumb, but I feel a lot closer to you now that you answered my question about psychedelics. You obviously have a strong head on your shoulders. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate you for saying that. I really, really do. And you guys, anytime you have questions, just ask. No, I'm not ever going to lie to you about anything, okay? I will always tell you the truth. I have nothing to hide from you guys, okay? I've put my whole story out here on YouTube, and a lot of it, like I said, I'm not proud of, but it's the truth. No judgment. I was just curious. I love you, Nicole. Because of you, I almost have 90 days. I'm so proud of you. Megan, you have to let me know what your when your 90 days is, because I'm going to mail you a card. Okay, wait a second. Is Sonia and Kim here? Sonia, Kim, and Misty, I mailed you guys out cards to celebrate your sobriety birthday. So yeah, you guys, if you have a sober birthday and you don't mind like giving me your address, I will send you a card in the mail to congratulate you for your sobriety birthday. So if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, and you can go over and join the Facebook group and just let me know when your sobriety birthday is, and I will send you a card, like I said. I got a list of you guys in my phone, so that way each person's, okay, it's the 26th. So that means it would be, if it's 90 days on the 26th, your first, what was the month? May? No. June, July, August, September, October. Was it July 26th that you came over here and got sober? Sorry, guys. And you know what? I'm telling you guys, like, I know a lot of people try to put salt in my game and, like, act like I'm over here not doing what I say I'm really doing. But let me just tell you guys, like, if you want, I will do anything I can to help you stay sober. And if you want to connect with me, like I said, and you guys don't mind giving me your address, like, I will mail you. Okay, July 26th, I got you. I'll mail you a card and we can be friends. We can be pen pals. I'm going to get a P.O. box. I just haven't gotten one yet. So that way we can actually, like, really write each other. No, that was my, hey, Hannah. How you doing, girl? I'm glad to see you in here. Oh, I'm so glad you guys all came and chatted with me today. This has been such a good little stream. Does anybody else have any other questions? Oh yeah, let me finish answering that one you asked, Megan. So when I found out I was pregnant, my whole, like, rationalization and justification was if I stopped using benzos and opiates, that I would be okay, and that as long as I didn't use those things, that my baby would be okay and I could just use meth. So what I did was I was using meth the whole time I was pregnant with my son. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not proud of that. I'm barely hanging on, but it's good to be here. I'm glad you're here. Hey girl, I hope you have a good weekend. I want to call the first sub doctor I went to and find out my sobriety date. It's been 5 years. That's all I know. Hey girl, that's what's up. 5 years. Congratulations. That's an amazing, amazing accomplishment. Yeah, just if it's been 5 years, that means you got sober in 2014. And you know what? If you could just figure out, like, a roundabout day, a roundabout month, and just send it to me, either, let me write down, hold on. I got a couple of you guys that just said July 26th for Megan. Let me see. Okay, how's that look, you guys? Okay, hold on. I'm just doing my makeup, just chatting, and we're just having a good old time today. I love chatting with you guys. I need to get a pen and piece of paper real fast, but let's do this waterline. By the way, ladies and gents, check out my channel. I got some of my music posted. Okay, baby, we will. Don't forget to like the video. Thanks, Amy. Okay, Kristen, find out and let me know, okay? For those of you that, like, I need you guys to email me. For those of you I haven't got to talk to, like, you know, one-on-one. If you haven't emailed me, email me so I can chat with you guys. I love, like, getting to know you guys and hearing from you guys in emails. So just, you know, email me or something. I know you probably don't believe me, but I'll email you right back. Ask Megan, ask Cindy, ask Hannah, ask all the girls. They know, because I talk to them all the time. And we get connected with each other through email, though. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, Katie, did you get my text on the messenger? I saw your message like yesterday evening, and I was like, holy shit. And so that's when I messaged you right away after I saw it. Okay, good. That makes me feel better. I was worried because I didn't want you to be upset with me. The only thing is, on Facebook, I get the messages, but I'm not always on my iPad. So what will happen is the message will sit there and it won't get read. But every time, like I just signed on to Facebook today, and I'm going to go on there and check my messages. But that's what happens is I won't be on for a couple days. So, because I don't have Messenger hooked up to my phone. So that's why. But, okay, what time is it? I'm going to get off here, you guys, because we got a live stream tonight at 7. So I hope you guys will come over and hang out with us tonight. 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. We're going to talk all about how to change the way you think. Okay? Hey, Galaxy, what's up? What's wrong? We're going to talk about how to change our thinking, okay? How to go from negative self-talk, negative inner dialogue to positive self-talk, okay? How to, instead of looking at the glass like it's halfway empty, how to look at the glass like it's half full instead. I'm telling you guys, like if you can learn how to change your thinking and start trying to be a little bit more positive, and it'll change your life forever, okay? All right, you guys, so I'll see you tonight at 7, and what I'll do is I'm going to look up some stuff, and I'm going to try to figure out some, like, meditations and stuff, and it'll be fun. So I'll see you guys tonight. I love you guys, and I hope you have a great day.